This technique is called club overhead, and it is just that, for an overhead strike with a club or a high side strike or a diagonal strike to the head. In this case, we're going to do an upward double cross block turning into a double parry with stick control. When Rob steps in with the overhead strike, the first thing I want to do is get my head out of the way by stepping aside and moving my head to the side, which really helps. From here, notice how my hands aren't up here. They're here at the hand. I'm controlling the hand here. I'm going to rotate and cover his hand with mine. As I do this, I'm going to step in, swinging the stick into the leg, continuing to hold into a wrist lock with the arm. From here, the butt end of the stick is going into the kidneys. As I drag the stick through, I'm going to release the hand, come in with the ridge hand to the back of the neck, and strike to the philtrum just below the nose or anywhere else I can reach with the stick. In using a stick, we have both follow through and snap. In the style I studied, which is called corda cadena eskrima, by Grandmaster Sonny Umpad, his was a lot of fast flicks, fast moves. Instead of following through all the way, he snapped and came back. I like that because to me it reminds me of Kempo. Sonny was very tall, about 6'4", very thin. I didn't learn directly from him. I learned from his student, Grandmaster Jose Olivares, whom I consider to be a master with the sticks himself. He was one of the finest teachers I've ever come across. He was a master of the Gaylord Kempo system. In the Gaylord system, I found a number of things that I find very useful as training techniques that aren't included in Kempo 5.0 or Tracy's system. This is simply my personal preference. It has nothing to do with whether anything is right or wrong. But the system of training techniques they used I found to be very helpful and valuable. In this case, the stick, corda cadena, has aspects of it that I very much enjoy. Its flow, its snappy movements, its fast and deceptive leg movements. It's like a dance, and it is very deceptive in how the legs can move around and avoid, trip, trap, and parry. In corda cadena, what you can do with a stick, you can do with a knife. And that's how it was designed. So, again, Rob is coming in with the stick. We come in, step out of the way, grab, step through. 1, 2, 3. And there's our stick technique. Now, what can we add to this? I'm going to go with a second stick defense. A second overhead strike. And let's see how this works out. In this case, I'm not going to strike with the stick. I'm going to strip it. This is a stripping technique. When he comes in with the overhead strike, I come in, I roll, I come in here, and now I've got my wrist lock as well as my strip. What I can do from here is pretty much anything I want because I've got them fairly well locked up, and I'm going to roll the stick around. From here, I can actually step in and produce a wrist lock that'll put him anywhere I want. I can also sneak the stick in, come across, and what have I got here? We step over here a little bit. What have we got here is a nice figure 4 choke. Carotid artery on one side, wrist on the other, stick into the back of the neck. We're rocking back and forth and causing tremendous pain. We can go from the side, we can go from the back. It's pretty much universal. It doesn't matter what position you're in. What matters is locking everything in place and keeping it stable as we rock the stick, providing a great amount of pain. So, there are 2 overhead steps, overhead clubs there. If I think of a third one, now here's a very simple one, and we're going to go on the other side here to do this. But this one you might like. When he comes in with the overhead, I'm simply going to parry with a single hand, guiding the elbow here. I'm going to wrap here, and I'm going to turn the hand here. From here, I'm going to take a step back, slam the elbow, and strip the stick. Now, what I have here is pretty much anything I want. 3 overhead clubs. 3 overhead clubs. How many fingers am I holding up? 6. 3 overhead clubs. They're all very similar in that they come up with a 2-hand block. And they start in a circular motion. After that, you can do anything you want to with it. You have 3 different variations that work quite well. You have taking the stick away, ridge hand strike. You have strip choke. You have strip and counter strike. They're all there. Which one you choose to teach and use, to me, I couldn't care less. And the reason is because they're all 3 effective. What's traditional doesn't matter to me as much as can you use it properly? What fits you the best? What makes you the master of that technique?